Here's our game client. Now, when we first try to log in, we're going to hit the master server first, because that's what governs our authentication to log in. But then after that, we should see packets to and from the game server arriving over here on the left-hand side. It will be hard to see, but I will embiggen it here after we get started. All right. Okay. Yeah, and we're in, and we're getting some packets. Let me turn the music off. All right. Yep, we're getting those packets. You can see them over there on the left-hand side. You can see them flowing. Don't worry about what they say just now. We're not quite ready for that. I forgot to start Cheat Engine. I would like to show you the status of my trainer, so just a moment. Okay, process attached, DLL injected. We're ready to go. All right, current state of my cheats. I have done a little bit of looking around hither and thither. Of course, have my speed hack. No problems there. We knew that one was working. I now have adjusted my jump hack so that I jump a little bit faster, a little bit higher, but still a level that's more or less manageable. I should be able to fairly easily get up into a tree like this, which I could go and practice for Unbearable Revenge, but yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to get up into a tree with our jump hack. But I have also... Oh, and by the way, it works properly now, so I can turn it off and on. I have also created a second jump hack for the purposes of travel, which has me jump much, much faster, much, much higher, so that I can... Oh, look at this. I'm just going nuts here. Get up here and do a little bird's eye view, and if necessary, in combination with my speed hack, I guess I'll show you as soon as I land and turn my speed hack on. There we go. So as long as I have enough forward momentum with that crazy high jump speed and distance, I can more or less just kind of jump from one half the island to the other. That, by the way, is Balmer Peak. We didn't see that in our walkthrough of the island, but we will get there. So yeah, I can jump from one side of the island to the other. But I also made another interesting discovery, and I'm debating on whether or not I should include this in a video. I found in Ghidra a Boolean condition for can jump. That was a weird packet I just got. And I decided to patch that. Do I have this destination? I guess I do now. Oh, look at what we have here. There's a golden egg in here. Well, this is for another quest. I am going to leave this for now, but it is very good to know that's where that is for when we get to that part. All right, neat. What was I saying? Oh, yes, Boolean condition for can jump. And we didn't cover yet byte patching, but perhaps we shall. But essentially, the way it's supposed to work, when you jump, like if I keep hitting space, I can't jump again, right? I jump, the Boolean condition is false, I can no longer jump. As soon as I once again reach terra firma and my z velocity becomes 0, then I can jump again. But by patching that, we essentially never lose our ability to jump, which means I can jump all I want. And so if my jump hack to get in a tree doesn't work, then I can certainly just multi-hop my way up until I get where I want to go. Get myself into a tree. And splat. So either way, we've got this covered. And with our speed hack and jump hack, with our multi-jump hack, well, I think we've got everything we need for now. That said, there are some other interesting Booleans that I did see, and I might consider byte patching those. Like, for example, there's the can be damaged, which is also a Boolean, which I did experiment with before, but I didn't really get anywhere. But I might look into that. We might try to patch that one too. But what we're actually here to do, spiders. What we're actually here to do is to get started on our proxy. So we have Wireshark running. We're intercepting packets. Let me get to safety here a bit. I suppose I can just... I hacked my way over here. I will hacked my way back. And we're back. And hop, 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 hop. Jump, 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 jump. There we go. A good place to hang out. All right. Pause the game. Let's get over here into Wireshark. And this is the default view. We don't care about the default view so much. We'll keep the number column. Let's get rid of time. Don't care about time. Do we care about source and destination? Kinda. I mean, we want to know what's coming from where. Like right now, my source is here, my destination. So these are all coming from me to the game server. And like every tick, we're sending out a packet. We don't care about the protocol. It's all going to be TCP. Length we'll keep. Well, let's first shrink this column and this column. And length is fine. Info. All right, so port to port. We're connected to port 3021 on the game server. But the rest of this, I don't think we really care so much about. Let's pick one of these packets here and take a closer look at it. So this is frame 2338. I'm not seeing anything that's unique or different. But there is this data section here at the bottom, which I'm guessing is particular to the game's protocol. Oh, let me explain what's going on. As we explained in our previous video, there are certain things that are visible in the client that are actually available to hack in the offline version, but are handled server-side in the online version. Our mana, our health, our pwn coins, all of these, for example. Our client needs to stay in fairly constant communication with the server. Our client needs to update the server needs to update our client. In this case, our client, which we are interacting with, is responsible, for example, for our player position. If I hit a key on my keyboard, the client is what I'm interacting with. The client changes my player position, so I need to tell the client, needs to tell the server where I'm standing. Why does it need to do that? Because the server is what's responsible, for example, for spawning mobs and loot drops and stuff like that. And it needs to know where to spawn them and where these things happen. And since it's monitoring my health and my mana, it also needs to update that. So I know, for example, that the client instantiates my player object. I believe that my client also instantiates the mobs, for example, the bears and spiders and so on. But the server needs to know what zone I'm in to instruct my client to go ahead and spawn in those mobs and those items and so on. I think that that's probably what's being updated every tick here. Notice that like every tick we're getting a packet out from our client to the game server that contains this information, right? That's probably my player position. Every tick it updates the server on where I'm standing, and then the server knows where I've moved, right? A lot of this is going to be familiar and necessary protocols, right? It's a TCP connection, TCP IP. So we're sending out from one IP to another over TCP, and that's going to contain encapsulations for those protocols. But then we have this data section here. That is what's being sent. The data section is what's being sent. And, that will be whatever the client is telling the server. And we can see that it's this string, this 6D76, blah, 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 blah. This is what my client is actually telling the server. The rest of this is just necessary to get it there. I'm also seeing that there's other packets that are being sent that are different than just the player update position. It's 54 bytes long instead of 76. So either that's our player position or the other one is. I'm not sure. But I do know that I don't really care about this info so much. So let's get rid of the info. What I do want to see is this data. So let's add. Let's go to right click here, the columns. Let's go to column preferences. Let's add a column. And this will be data. The type will be custom. And the field will be data. And I think that's all we need. No, that's not going to do it because it's just checking whether or not the data packet is present. Although some of them aren't. Some of these, the 54 byte ones don't contain a data section. I would love to. Yeah, here's one of the 54 bit sections or byte sections, and there is no data section. It's just TCP/IP. So what's that about? Is this just like a? This is like a keep alive. This is to from, right? Yeah, this is from my client out. I don't know what this is, but it doesn't have a data section, so I assume that whatever it is, it's not actually sending any information to the server. It might just be a keep alive. I'm not positive. But this is just checking off what the data section is, or I'm sorry, if the data section is present. So there we go. All right. So just got to change that to data.data, and then it displays the contents of the data packet. All right. So if we look here, what we can see, let me first of all move this down and see if I can make this a bit bigger for us. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of the number. Give us a little bit more space here. All right. So we know if it's coming from 9.2, then it's coming from us to the server. If it's coming from 3.4, then it's coming from the server to us. All right, so these are the packets that I was able to capture, and they all seem to be identical. So the information that's being sent to the server throughout this entire time that it's been gathering this data seems to be all identical packets. They are not changing. We have two types of packets being sent. One of them is 76 bytes long. The other one's 54. The one that's 54 contains no data field. I have no idea what it is, but I assume that the data field is what the client is updating the server, which I think is probably our player position. The way to test that is we're still sending the packets, but let's get back in the game. And if we move around and the packets change, then we know it's our player position. So let's jump. And yeah, I can see it's changing. When I move, the packets are changing. If I hold still, they are identical. So let's stop that. We'll take a scroll up here and let's take a look. So before I started moving, and we can see we've got different sized packets here as well. So before I started moving, all of these are identical, 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 identical. And then here we go. This is where I started to move. And when I moved, these packets changed. So I'm updating, my client is updating the server on where I'm currently standing. That also means that these packets likely in some way have some kind of relevance to my position. I mean, the server needs to know where I'm standing, so these values in some way relate to where I'm standing. With games, there's two main ways that they're going to do that. There's along 3 vectors, x, y, and z, or there's along 4 vectors, which is a quaternion, which is a different type of concept we'll get into in a little bit. But in any event, x, y, and z is pretty good shorthand. What about these longer packets? Right here, 79 bytes. Uh, and you know one other thing I notice here? Not the entire packet does not change. 6D76, but when we get to this 79 byte one, it's 6A701, then 6D76. So the first 3 bytes are different, 1, 2, 3, and then it's the same sort of packet, 6D76. The only thing I did just now is I turned and then I jumped. Oh, here we have an 82 byte packet, 6A701, okay. And then 6D76 over here. And that was my last jump. So that has to be me landing is a larger packet. Let's try this again. Start her up. All right, back to it. I'm going to jump back where I came from. Yes, every time I jump and then I land, I didn't see an 80 whatever byte packet. But if I hold still, my hand is off the mouse, my hand is off WASD. If I just press space, every time I press space, it generates a 79 byte packet. So we know that that is somehow related to our jump functions here. Let's stop this. All right, so here we go. When our player position starts out 6D76. When we jump, it's 6A70. Is this jumping? 001 is this jumping, and then 000 is this landing? I'm guessing so. All right. We also have. All right. Let's do this again. 6D76 clearly means this is a player position packet. It's telling the server this is a player position packet. The 6A70 is telling the server that we have jumped, and I think if it's 01, then it's we've jumped, and if it's O, then we've landed, I think. But since these prefixes remain static, that must be the server identifying what type of packet it is. The rest of this seems to be changing. No, the next few. No, yeah, okay. No, that's a jump. 4541 C3. 45413C. And that's totally different. All right. Well, if this truly is player position, then let's see what we've got if we... first, let me move this over a bit more so that you can see the actual packets as they come by. Oh, but I'm going to need to start Wireshark here. Hold on a sec. Let me get rid of the source and destination just for now. No length either. Okay. And we'll call that good enough. Okay. So what I want to do is we're going to do some controlled experiments here. So let's turn Wireshark back on. Okay, we resume. Hands off the keyboard, just the mouse. If I move the camera up and down, we can see those bytes are changing in the packet. If I move left and right, those packets change. Okay, hands off the mouse. If I move S, W, we can see that the values are changing in the middle there, but not all of them. Like, I can see FC is remaining. If I go A, D, yeah, different sections of the packet are updating depending on which direction we're moving in. And keep in mind that I have no idea if I'm oriented perpendicular to one of the 3 axes, assuming, of course, that it is 3 axes. So where I'm looking right now might be dead on X or Y, but I have no idea. Like, if imagine that I'm in a 3D plane. Actually, we'll use the roof here. All right, so X, Y, and then the wall down here will be Z, which goes obviously from the corner here, an imaginary line extending straight up into the sky. Now, if I'm aligned exactly perpendicular to X, then if I move forward and backward, the only value that's going to change is X, because my position on Y, if I'm exactly perpendicular, I'm going to try to be, doesn't change. My position relative to Y does not. But now imagine that I'm not exactly perpendicular to X. If I'm just slightly off like this, notice that I would be moving along the X-axis, but I would also be moving along the Y-axis as well, like this. See how my position is changing there? So I have no idea, because these are imaginary lines and I can't actually see them in the game. I have no idea if this is X. But when I move, what I do see is that only certain values are changing in the packet. And I know that when I jump, I get a different packet. I can probably filter this on the data packet to only see, yeah, let's do that. Let's stop this again. And I have my filter here. I'm going to keep that. Data contains 6A700. Oops, that should be 6A700. Okay. So this should now filter down to only show me jump packets, assuming, of course, that my movement packets don't contain 6A700. All right, resume game. Now if I jump, okay, now I'm getting those packets as I should. But I'm only getting 6A7, I'm only getting the zeros, I'm not getting the 1. If I keep jumping with my hop cheat, yeah, they're all just 1. So why was I getting them before, where I was getting a 001 and a 0? There, yeah, there's a 001. What the hell is that? Let's try a mega jump instead. Oops. We go up. We come down. We go splat. All right, well, at any rate, what can we tell just from looking at this so far? Well, we know that the packets are dependent upon our current position, our current behavior, whether we're jumping or moving and what direction we're moving in and so on. It also seems to take account of our look direction with the camera, as well as our player object position in the game. And so what does that mean? I don't know, maybe there's a way that we can fool the server, or something like that. It also means that there's going to be likely packets for other things too, instead of just position. Let's get rid of our current filter here. Get rid of that. And we'll capture everything. Let's get back to the game. Let's see if we can get ourselves a pickup. We'll kill a bear, get ourselves a pickup, and see if there's a packet for when we pick up loot. See what that looks like. Okay, there's a drop. Grab that. Okay, we got our rifle ammo. I'm going to stop this so that we don't get a bunch of garbage in the way, and then move back to safety. And then we'll take a look at our trace and see what we got. There's this. 6565DA7 something something. Do we see the 6D76 somewhere in here? Like, does it mix? What I'm guessing, what I'm checking to see is, does this send multiple packets in one string. So is this a pickup and our player position, or are they relying on two completely separate transmissions? Copy this field value. And but what this obviously is hexadecimal. Let's see the ASCII on this. What does this translate to? EE, MV, EP. What about these? MV. Oh, there is a movement packet in here. Oops. There it is, 6D76. So we got this. Here, let me chop this up. This seems to be a discrete part. These are 22 bytes. 21, 22. Okay, so all of the rest of it is a position packet. Sometimes the last trailing thing here is all zeros, and sometimes it's 7F. What about one of our jump packets? Oh, what's this? Great balls of fire. So 6D76, a 22 byte string to a and it translates to great ball. Oh, and here's MV. So there's a movement package. 6D76 is an MV, a movement package. And then this must be a fire. Because look, here's every time I cast the spell, it's got this 2A69 address packet that's sent. What about the jumps, though? Let me label these so I don't forget. Use Great Balls Fire. This is a pickup packet. Here we go. Here's a jump. We got two of them. Let me grab them both. Because one of them is one of these with the 1 in that position. Okay. And they have this 676, and here's that 676. So it's 3 bytes whether or not we're jumping, but I don't know. I can't seem to find any reason why there would be a 1 and a 0 difference. That's not jumping and landing. At least it doesn't seem to correlate to that. I have no idea. And then here's our movement packets here with the 7F. Do we have any packets that aren't 7? Yeah, it's just 0 or 7F. Those are the only two things that we see. Does the 7F correlate to us being in the air? So it's whether or not we're on solid ground or not? Let's try that. Let's start this back up. Yes, continue game. Okay. And stop. I'm on the ground. Yeah, I'm in the air. That's what that means. I'm going to break this down. There's our prefix. Don't know what this is, don't know what this is, don't know what this is, but we do know that this is in air. And we think that this is camera or object position XYZ, perhaps. And then I don't know. So if we break down the packets, that's what it seems to be. We notice that these are the values that change when we move the camera or when we move our player. This is what changes when we're in the air or when we're on the ground. This doesn't seem to change at all. And this doesn't seem to change at all as long as it's a movement packet. As a matter of fact, that prefix is found anywhere we see a movement packet. So that's definitely a prefix that means this is a movement package. This is probably a prefix that means it's a pickup, I think. And oh, let's test another thing. There's a run speed and a walk speed, right? So run is default. If we press shift, we're walking. Let's capture some movement packets and see if there's a difference between those. Run, 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 walk, 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 run, 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 walk, 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 walk. Oh, what the hell is this now? Oh. Is this when I press shift? Yeah, it's moving up. Copy value. Press shift. 67.6 right there. Ah, look at that. Run. RN. Okay. This in ASCII is JP. This is JP and then an unprintable character. So jump, run, move. This is starting to make a weird kind of sense. It's starting to make a weird kind of sense. All right, so with Wireshark, we can capture the packets. With examining the packets, we can decipher them. It's going to take a little bit of time because I don't know exactly how these work, but I do know that they are somehow related to our position, the camera or object position. Just a question of figuring that out. But we're going to need to, at some point, develop an asynchronous proxy in order to inject our own packets, in order to send our own packets to the server, and so on. So for that, we are going to use Python. But the first thing, of course, is to write the Python script. Okay, so let's get started with that.